Hi, I'm Kerry Mellin, and I live in Simi Valley, California, in Ventura County. I'm a costume designer for the motion picture industry. I've been designing costumes and costuming people for 35 years. I got into costuming in my early 20s. I grew up with 4 sisters. We didn't have a lot of money. So instead of my parents buying us clothing, my mom gave us a sewing machine. So basically we were sewing all our own clothes as kids. So when I was looking for a career, I chose costume design. So I've done movies, commercials, TV. For the last about 12 years, I've been working at Nickelodeon on children's shows. The show that is running that I used to work on, Henry Danger, that's on Nickelodeon right now, iCarly, Zoe 101. Victorious, Ariana Grande, Sam and Cat, particularly commercials. I was doing McDonald's, Clorox, Pine Sol, car commercials. So I'd worked on a couple of Disney movies, but no Disney TV shows. I still do what's called day checking now, meaning that occasionally if one of the people I've worked for in the past needs someone to work on the set or do shopping for them or some designing, I will go and do that for them. A day here, a day there. My other business has really taken over my life, but I have not I'm still in the union, I still pay my dues, and I still enjoy keeping my toes in the water. And if a really interesting project comes up, I may still do that. But as I got a little bit older, I noticed that I wanted to do something a little different in the second half of my life, or maybe the last third of my life. I'm over 60. And so my sisters and I were kind of knocking around ideas for a business. I was thinking about retiring from costuming. And so we talked about the healthcare industry and how baby boomers were going to be having trouble with things like grip. It's a product that can help so many different types of grip disabilities, from arthritis to severe conditions like spinal cord injuries and everything in between. I mean, I invented it for myself. And I was having a personal experience with my grip. I'm an equestrian and I have horses. I live in a rural area of Ventura County where you can have horses in your backyard. I had gone out to clean my horse's barn and corral, and I was having a hard time holding onto my broom. And I was going to have a party a little bit later, and I looked around and said, this is really a mess. I've got to finish this. But my thumbs were really painful from arthritis that runs in our family. So I got some duct tape, and I made this loop on my broom with duct tape. And it sounds kind of crazy, but I really wanted to work, and my hands were locking up. So I stuck my hand inside the broom in this loop. And as I'm brushing and brooming, I realized it took hardly any grip at all. It was really effortless and it was painless. So my sisters came over later for the party, and we were talking about what we do often, which is, do we want to start a business together? Should we start a recipe with our grandma's fudge? Do we want to do buns? What do we want to do? And I said, look at gals, I had a hard time holding on to my rake and my broom today. What about if we make it a little assistive grip device that would help us hold on? I ran in the house, I got a silicone pot holder. We were outside swimming in the pool. I got a silicone pot holder, cut 2 holes in it, slipped it over a broom and said something like this. So my 2 sisters, Marilee, she is a director of early education. She's been doing that for 35 years. And my other sister is a chef. And also a fine artist. So between the 3 of us, we figured we could come up with a better way to help people, adults, senior citizens, all the baby boomers coming of age, to hold on to implements, any everyday objects, from a hairbrush to a toothbrush to a broom. So we got to work on it right away. I had some experience with assistive devices because in my early 20s, when I was trying to figure out to go into costuming or go into what to go into, I took a test with a professor who gave me this Briggs Stratton test to see what areas I would be good at. And
yes, I remember those.
Yeah, and it came up with working in television and film, but it also mentioned occupational therapy, and I had no idea what that was. So I volunteered. I immediately was still started making some costumes, but I also volunteered at Northridge Hospital Medical Center here in the San Fernando Valley in LA. And I worked in the spinal cord injury wing. I was just going to volunteer for a couple of months to find out what occupational therapy was, but I ended up staying there for a year and a half because I found it so fascinating. And what the therapists were doing was helping people with severe spinal cord injuries to relearn to eat and brush their hair and paint pictures and do recreation and daily living activities. And at that time, I learned about the assistive devices they were making for each patient. They were using duct tape, and they were using, popsicle sticks and anything to get the utensils to hold on. And I was thinking, why isn't there something better? And at the time, the therapist said, well, we do have these little elastic cuffs and leather cuffs with Velcro, but we can only use them one time because they get dirty and we can't wash them or disinfect them. So sometimes we just like to make it every day on the fly. I ended up going to working in Hollywood, but I never forgot what I learned there. So here I am, 35 years later working in Hollywood, and my hands are kind of giving out. And so I think back, what kind of new products have they made for people with hand arthritis or other hand grip disabilities? I do a little research, and there isn't anything. The same horrible elastic cuffs were being used in hospitals. They had nothing different. So my sisters and I decided to innovate something to help people hold on. It's really simple. I'll show you what it is. It's a tiny little universal cuff.
Yeah.
And so we in our workshops, my sisters took off and went to a Hollywood mask shop, a silicone mask shop, to find out how to pour, mix, cure, color silicone and make molds. I stayed at home on my computer to find out if there were any kinds of assistive cuffs on the market already. I could find nothing. So my sisters got back. We started making little easy holds. My sister Wendy was an artist, so she knew how to mold and sculpt. And we made all 1,000 molds, and did within about a week we had about 1,000 prototypes of easy holds to put onto different implements. We took them to a local swap meet and just laid them on the table, put it on a hammer, a tennis racket, a fork, and we just watched people come by and give us their opinion of what they thought of it. And the result was pretty profound. There were nurses coming by, teachers, therapists. Every one of them said, I have someone, a student, a patient, a client who can use this. We started handing them out, and then we started doing some trialing. There was a teacher that came by for the Agoura School District who had severely handicapped children that she was teaching, and she took them and proceeded to do trialing with them. And it has really taken off. We are selling them all over the country now. We have 15 distributors. We're in about 6 to 7,000 schools and care facilities around the globe, and growing every day. And as a new product, we just invented it 5 years ago. We've been selling it for 4 years. As a new product in 2019, we were voted one of top 6 women-owned businesses of the year for 2019 Amazon's, which was pretty exciting. It was interesting, as a female-owned business, we hit a few interesting roadblocks. We took it to, I went through the phone book. I tried to find as many local patent attorneys as I could, all through Los Angeles and Ventura counties. I went to about 6 or 7 different patent lawyers, and of course, out of the 7, 6 of them were men. And the first 6 I went to were all men, and they were looking at it going, like here's one on a baby bottle. They were thinking, we just don't really see it. We can't see how it would work, who would use it. too simple a patent. We don't think you can get it. And we kept hearing it and hearing it, 6 times. Well, then I found a female patent attorney who was over here in Ventura County. She used to work in silicone. She used to be working with silicone manufacturers, representing them for the medical industry. And she had a daughter who was autistic. So she actually knew, she could see it. She saw it and said, wow, I can see how valuable a tool this would be. Also, as a female, you're generally caregivers for your parents, your elderly, kids. So you understand the relevance of a product like this. I think I can get you this patent. And sure enough, we worked with her, and within a year and a half, we had a utility patent and a design patent. Now, the patent process was interesting because they came back with us and they said, oh, we think it's so similar to this. Explain why it's not. So yes, they came back a couple of times to ask us questions and to keep coming back and back. But we said, no, we are positive this is a good product. We're going to keep refining it and refining it. And finally, we did get our patent. I would say it was not as difficult as we thought it would be. For instance, when they, like, the examiner came back and said, wow, this item, it's a strip of elastomer with 2 holes. It looks like the items that go onto Coke cans. So we had to write back and say, no, it doesn't hold Coke cans or soda cans. It's actually much stretchier than that. It's only 2 holes, and it just goes, and your hand slips into it like a cuff. So we just had to make these adjustments about 3 times so that the examiner understood exactly what it was, and we weren't infringing on anyone else's patent. So how it goes is you slip it on one end. There's the spoon. You put it on the other end, and it's super simple, and it goes right like that. So it holds it without a grip at all. Go right into the dishwasher like this. And if you're in a hospital, it can go right into an autoclave because it's 100% silicone, FDA food grade, the kind that goes inside your body. So it's completely inert, and it's hypoallergenic too, so no one will have allergies from it. And then it also fits, we have different sizes, so it fits a baby fork as well, a baby spoon, something super, super tiny. It can go onto a crayon, a pencil, a pen, a stylus. For children, for infants with cerebral palsy or pediatric stroke or pediatric arthritis, it can go onto rattles. Here is one that goes on a drumstick. So for all those ex-rock and rollers, you can do a drumstick. It virtually goes on anything. For me, since I have really bad thumbs, I have a hard time gripping something for an extended period of time. So I have it on my toothbrush. This is actually my toothbrush so that I don't have to grip it at all. Because if I grip really hard for longer than like 20, 30 seconds, I get a lot of pain. The one thing about our product that is going to be helpful at this time is that parents are going to be staying home and they're going to need some extra help helping all of their children, children who might have learning disabilities or physical disabilities. And so before this crisis where everybody's asked to stay home, Easy Hold and myself, my company, was basically reaching out to teachers and therapy centers to give them our product, sell them our product, teach them about our product. But now we're reaching out one-on-one to parents because it's the parents who are going to need this product because they're going to have to help their disabled child to eat by himself or draw by himself while they're helping their other children, perhaps, who do not have disabilities